Okay. Her hips don't lie. That's right, AeSun. Let them know how you got 3 kids. Hey guys, it's your girl Aisha, aka Geek XX Chic, and we're back with another reaction to When Life Gives You Tangerines. We're now on episode 7, which is called A Fruitful Fall. So that definitely feels a little bit more inviting, a little bit warmer than what we got for the last episode. We see that in the last episode that Gwanshik and AeSun experienced their first tragedy as a family. Things have been going very, very well for them. Their family was growing and thriving. And then unfortunately, just because of a terrible collision of events, they ended up losing their youngest son, and just kind of how the grief ripped through their family. But thankfully, they have this beautiful, strong foundation of love and sense of protection and responsibility for their children and their family. So while they were definitely still in the throes of grief, they were able to kind of pull themselves up slowly and kind of get it back together and eventually find their footing. And then we found out in the flash forward that they did eventually kind of get their footing again. But yeah, it was definitely harsh to see them have to go through that and figure out a way to navigate past such a unbelievable pain. So hopefully we're kind of getting into the normalization phase of their lives now that they are doing a bit better. And then I think we ended, yes, on their oldest daughter getting into university. So at least one of their children is living the dream, pardon me, that AeSun had for herself. So I'm ready to jump into the episode. But just before I do, a reminder that if you'd like to be in the know when I drop episodes, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell. And also, if you'd like to watch the full uncut reaction to this, you can see that on my Patreon right now. You can head over there if you are interested. Why? Who cares about the Miguk Saram? This is not their house. You think they can smell through the TV, sir? Thank you. Exactly. And are you going to compensate them for all that time? We who? What are you taking as a sacrifice? That's right. Exactly. I was like, why are we doing this now? Exactly. Protest. Go ahead and drive your trucks over if it's that deep to you. Oh, a gangster. Okay. Has she ever done what she's told? Let's be 100% now, sir. How long have you known her? She doesn't even listen to her husband. What do you mean? Didn't listen to her mama?
애들 엄마가요. 원래는 극장 출신이에요.
She was.
제가 증인이거든요.
She's very smart.
진짜로 금요 엄마 개장됐으면 좋겠냐?
I think he wants whatever makes AeSun happy.
그래도 사내가 별이란 것이 있었으니.
Excuse me, that man said he wanted to be first lady when he was 10.
나도 최초의 개장 남편이
That's
되는
right. Proud of his lady.
멀쩡한 놈들 다 쓰레기 대학
Yeah. Take notes.
대통령도 5번 해먹을 건데?
He never forgot.
흑돼지. 그 흑돼지로 이모 같은
Trying to bribe everybody, hmm? I really hope they just enjoy the meat and still vote for AeSun.
같은데 여기 오셨네?
That's exactly it. A bribe is a gamble, sir. You should be happy that they're eating if you really care. Exactly. Can you be a better host, please? Thank you. Why have you not gotten her drink yet? That's the real question.
어떻게 서울대를 다 보냈냐고, 비법이 뭐냐고, 아주 그냥.
신나게.
She is.
내가 너무 빨리 왔나?
어머니.
나 교무실로 가면
Listen
되지?
to him. What is he trying to say?
안녕하세요.
아니 거기 들어오셔. 나가시자고.
네?
같이 나가시자고.
Why are you talking to me like this, sir? You can drop that attitude immediately, actually.
이건 지금 보통 사태가 아니에요. 지금 교장 선생님 차가 그냥 탈락가 됐다고.
I say that my son's got an entrepreneurial spirit. I think you're looking at this the wrong way.
오나타 만들어 버리는 놈은 양은명이나 처음이에요.
It's kind of funny.
11장으로 만들어주고 50원을 챙기는.
I mean, again, I'm seeing an entrepreneurial spirit. You're looking at this all the wrong way. I do wonder how he's doing, though.
네 누나 때는 내가 학교 오면서 생전 목까지 힘 빠질 일이 없었어.
Okay, don't do that.
고개를 못 들어 고개를.
Don't compare your kids. They're different kids. Does he feel like he's living in his sister's shadow? Is that what's happening?
인생의 학벌이 다요? 어?
That's true.
딸 그것도 누구 딸인데?
Oh, he made one for his sister too.
요새 대학생 호스티스도 많다잖아. 용돈 받으면서 데이트해주고 막 아저씨들이랑 연애하고.
I really hate how catty girls can be. You have no idea. Just because she's pretty and she's got a good boyfriend, suddenly that's a problem? Oh wait, who is this? That doesn't look like the guy that we saw at the graduation, is it? Wave. Exactly. Jealous cows. Since you're watching so much, may as well wave. Take a picture, it'll last longer. Exactly. They're hilarious.
본인은 공약은 없는가?
Right? Actually.
돈만 쓰고 댕기는 것 같은데.
That's what I'm saying. It looks like all you're doing is focusing on how much you don't like her and not what you actually contribute or what you can do.
참는 거죠. 맘먹고 가자고 들면. 너도 뭐 그렇게 뭐 응?
It's true. She got a lot of dirt on you, sir.
1점 때 1등 했다. 제주서 창식예명 1등으로 했죠.
Yeah, open up that door, sir.
개원들도 상길이의 실체를 알 권리가 있는 거고.
Are they gonna believe her though?
상길이가 먼저 넘었다고.
Are they really gonna believe her? She's always ended up getting blamed for everything.
지거들랑.
내가 맞아요. 쇼야키가 얼마고 국수값이 얼마고?
I thought this was out of the goodness of your heart. Why does it matter how much you paid for it?
오가가 만 야무지고 후가가 만 모질라도 여자 계정 조선 벌도에 없다.
And misogyny wins out. So many times you would have had someone who is capable, who cares about the people, and you're too worried about what's between their legs. This man is complete waste of flesh, but because he's got a penis, let's put him in charge.
그 집구석은 피 자체가 발랑 까졌고.
Okay, you already know you're gonna win. You don't have to keep bashing her.
나는 한 점 부끄러움이 없는 후보라고.
Except for the fact that you're useless, you beat your wife, and you don't take care of your kids.
우리도 벽을 좀 허물자.
You mean the wall of marriage? You're married. Yeah, decent. Talk about how decent you are.
그건 문을 활짝 이렇게 열어 제낄 줄도 알아야지.
No, let's talk about how you have nothing to be ashamed of.
네가 가심에 꽁치나 꽁 하고 때려 박힐 때 얘는 멍게라도 하나 더 까.
아니 그걸 왜?
I mean, y'all was loud as hell. What'd you expect?
너 남의 옆에 내 족발 만지려고 기자.
Right? Is that why you want to be chief? So you can be a bigger cheater?
근데 뭐 개장. 너는 똥이나 끊으라.
Oh, God. They drag you every time. I love it.
진짜.
Period. You know why, sir? You would have won if you kept your mouth shut. You would have won if you kept your mouth shut.
제주 최초의 여자 게장이 나왔다.
That's right. Progress, girl. Get used to it.
엄마의 닉네임은 오게장이었다.
Listen, it's a long... Look at how happy he is for her.
여기 편육 오냐? 이들 편육 애끼냐?
왜 굳이 와서 쓸모없는
Exactly. You could have been this way at home.
팔순막은 하루당 있잖아. 아니 그냥 보니까 상전 말이 없어 본디. 상길이가 부동산에 편내 발가락 쪼물러 본 거 아니야?
Not the 80-year-old man gossiping. Oh, sir. You talk too much. You can't get on that self-righteous hill unless you're actually righteous.
벨라, 걔가 관식이 만나고 잘 풀려. 너 지금
The way she just will never give AeSun her flowers. It's always got to be something that comes through her son.
야, 우리 영부인 바쁘네. 영부인이라고 하지 말라 그랬지.
That's what he asked to be called. Thank you.
야, 너는 그거는 좀 끌어놓고 다니지 그러냐?
Because it keeps his clothes clean. I thought it was his wife. Okay, because I knew they showed the back of her head twice. But she doesn't like her husband, so... And she also owes AeSun for not ratting her out that day.
아니 그렇게 전을 붙이고 계시면 나도
She's there because she wants to be AeSun.
나도 있을만 하니까 있는 거예요.
She probably likes watching her husband be miserable.
좋아하겠지.
Exactly.
좋아하겠지. 그치.
I know. She's sitting there thinking, how the heck did she end up, how does AeSun have a man like Guanshik and I got this man right here? Dance it up, AeSun. You deserve it, girl. Okay. Her hips don't lie.
아, 좀 말려봐요. 지금 무아지경이라니까.
Let her celebrate. That's right, AeSun. Let them know how you got 3 kids.
아버지. 어때요?
그렇게 좋아?
His favorite question. And she's not crying this time.
좋아.
I love that they keep revisiting the walk along this path.
나는 어려서가 하도 고생이 싫어서 그립지도 않은데 그래도 다시 돌아가려면 또 갈 것 같아.
That is the right viewpoint.
이모들은 따블로 싸가.
I don't think I've seen that before. Looks good though.
왼쪽을 좀 많이
Rice cakes. Okay.
황내가
Is that like glutinous rice? That looks very soft. What's going on here? What's ripening here? So, young man, we can't have. No, she's not ready to be a grandma yet.
난장을 채우며
Ah, the person you made the bag for. Not both your kids trying to get in trouble here. Well, that's him. Interesting. Oh, so they broke up at. Oh, wait, were they even together before he went off to the military? I don't even know.
너도 진짜 저 차 몰라? 아 양금명 진짜 좀 이상한 거 아니냐고.
How's that any of your business?
내가 우리 아빠랑 금명이에 대해 얘기를 좀 해봤는데
Oh, really?
원래
That's what you
개천에서
do?
난 용들이 더 잘 삐뚤어지는 거래.
Why are y'all talking about this girl constantly? My God, you know she's that girl.
갈수록 열등감만 드는 거지.
Hmm.
그니까 더 난 사람이 봐주래.
Sure. Tell yourself whatever you need to.
금명이가 너한테 왜?
Exactly.
성적도 너보다 위고.
Let her know.
0.2점 차이.
Still, point 2 is point 2.
금명이네도 잘 먹고 살아.
Yeah,
아빠
exactly.
원장님이셔. 어부. 다들은 개편이냐? 너 참 품이 있다.
Right? Thank you for proving ain't no class there, girl. You jealous. Just say you're jealous.
샷다빡은 무슨 지저스 크라이스트다. 웬스데이 코 쓰는 게 못된 것만
That's right. Like, can you get your basic English before you start cussing, ma'am?
안 내려.
Exactly. You love it. You love that someone cares enough to scold you.
니네 집은 다들 좀 금방금방 관두시나 봐.
Could it be because of her sunny disposition?
내가 더 섹시한 거 아닌가?
Are you a little too young to say sexy, ma'am?
너
Yeah.
내가 섹시 스펠링
Read your book. Exactly. Get your education before you worry about anything to do with sex.
왜?
한 주먹씩 집어가 꼴통 더블로 받아야지.
이제야 한풀이를 좀 할랬더니 애가 내 머리를 닮았어요. 에스카데.
God damn, that's harsh. She's not dumb. She's just stubborn.
선생님 찾는데 2년 걸렸어요. 나 돌려서 말 안 할래요.
You want her to take the test for Jenny?
애 대리 시험 한 번만 쳐줘요.
That's fraud. She can get kicked out of school for that. And she's gonna fail out of college anyway.
27평. 서울에 아파트 하나 사드릴게.
That is a damn good deal, but honey, that's your future, and that's not gonna be enough. Don't do it. I know that is damn lucrative, but... He's like, you better not be giving those to my girl.
누구 집 오셨어?
He don't care not about that.
오늘 볼 수 없나?
He just cares about keeping his daughter away from that man.
안녕하십니까 아버님.
Who?
저 옛날에 그 입학신을 한번 뵀었지 말입니다.
Yeah, he didn't forget.
버스를 타시고 이렇게
There's a point to all of this, right? You might want to get to it quickly.
내가 왜 당신 아버지야?
Exactly. Who are you?
아버지야. 뭐 때문에?
It's Ajushi to you.
배팅을 안 하면 한 방도 없어요.
저는 걸리면 제적이에요.
Yeah, you would be expelled, and you'd never get into another school.
눈 한 번 딱 감고 땡 잡으시라니까.
You were raised differently, Gumyoung. I really hope you remember that, because it's not worth it, even though it looks like an easy way.
본인만 생각하지 말고 고생하시는 부모님 생각도 해서.
Exactly.
대전에서 진짜
And how embarrassed they would be if you got expelled for cheating. Sir?
908호에서 나오는 학생 맞지?
Why?
학생이 그 집도 뭐 훔쳤다며.
Huh?
더 고민할 일도 아닌 것 같아요. 저 잘하는 걸로 아파트 팔면 저야 좋죠.
But they're honest people.
딸내미 치사하게 사는 꼴은
Exactly.
지금 그거 나 들으라고 한 소리야?
그리고
I'm just telling you I'm not gonna do it.
양금명이
That too.
그렇게 떨어지는 꼴은 제가 못 볼 것 같아서요.
Oh,
그럼 걔는 속상해
she's proud
죽어요.
of her.
나이를 스카이 보내려고 하시는 것도 사실 객기.
Ooh, that's definitely her mama's mouth.
먹고 살게 해주세요.
Yeah, she's
그게
beautiful.
제니한테도 응당마땅 구돌이잖아요.
That's right. Throw it right back at her, you cheeky old hag.
저 꼴통 인센티브 받아갈게요.
Oh, honey, you should have left without the money. I know you deserve to be paid, but in that case, you should have left the money.
반지.
What ring?
네?
다이아. 다이아 반지.
There's no what?
그러나 품밖의 세상은 정글이었다.
Oh, that sucks. What ring is she talking about? Do you think the boy gave her a ring? Because I didn't see a ring. I didn't catch there being a ring at all, but that woman probably lied. I wouldn't be surprised if she had a ring and she wanted to take it because just to teach her a lesson, or if she just said that to make sure the girl would get in trouble because she knew she had taken the money. Oh, what a mess. Oh my gosh, poor Gum-young. That sucks. It sucks. Unfortunately, that is the way the world works sometimes. You get some people who unfortunately are unscrupulous and they expect that just because you're poor, you're going to be unscrupulous as well. And that's just not right or fair. But yeah, this episode was definitely more of just, I think, kind of a leveling out after what we got in the last episode. You know, as I said, last episode was heart-wrenching, that horrible loss that the family sustained and the way it really, I think, shifted their family dynamics forever. But, you know, how they slowly rebuilt themselves back to, you know, as I said, Gum-young getting into university, which was a dream her mother had, well, for herself, but she definitely didn't want her daughter, especially, to even think of having a future like the one that she would have had, where she has to work or potentially not get a proper education. Because I believe that, well, they said that in this one that AeSun only had a high school education, but I thought she took her GED. I know that, I don't know, Gwanshik was encouraging her to get it. I don't know if she never, oh, maybe she didn't bother because she got pregnant. That might be why. Anyways, point being, I think she wanted to make sure that all of her children, but especially her daughter, got a proper education in post-secondary as well, so that it would give her more opportunities, more options, so she wouldn't have to get married in order to survive. Although, by the time the 80s came around, most people, I think, I mean, I can't speak for South Korea because I'm not exactly sure where they were with women in the workforce at that point, but I know at least in this part of the world, by the time the 80s rolled around, women could absolutely work in just about any field. Yeah, just about any field. You could make enough money to live on your own is the point. Like, by the time the 80s rolled around, and definitely the 90s, many women didn't have to marry to be financially independent, right? They could live on their own. So anyway, we see that with AeSun that she, we see that the elections came for the next village chief, and they were like, we want to change, right? Because the village chief has been that annoying jerk of a man for so long, and a lot of the reason that he's won, we see, is just because A, he's a man, and B, because he's wealthy. And because of the whole thing that happened with the Olympics coming through in 88, it looks like they were trying to, I guess, or maybe they proposed having an Olympic path go through their village, but in order to do it, they would have to go and basically reform the entire area and put a lot of people out of work while that happened. And I really love that, you know, the Henryos and everyone just kind of stood up and was like, you're just going to bulldoze everything here. You're going to push us out of work. We live hand to mouth. Like, if we don't sell, then that's literally going to affect whether or not we can eat in a day or two. We don't have the luxury of not working for however long it is. And I think they said it was like they were already trying to do this all of 6-7 months before the Olympics would have come. So you're telling me that these people have to be out of work and effectively out of money and food that entire time? Like, that doesn't work. And because the chief is useless, instead of, all he did was get his palms greased and say, yeah, go ahead, because he knew it wouldn't affect him, because he was compensated for the fact that he wouldn't be able to go to sea and do the work that he would normally do to make money. But for everybody else, right, a good chief would have either said no flat out, like, you can't run it through that particular place because that's where, from what I've seen of that village, about 80% of their revenue comes from that place. Or he could have and should have negotiated with the government to say, all right, we could do this, but then how are you going to compensate the people who are working in that alley so that they can be covered for however long it's going to take until the Olympics come. And then how are you going to help them set up everything again so they can be profitable again? Right? Like, the government's supposed to care about its people. So if that's really what they wanted for the sake of the glory that the Olympics was supposed to bring, then they have to be prepared to do what it takes, even at the level of the ground of those people who are your constituents. And I love that the Hanrios and all of them brought out, like, why are you worried about what foreigners are thinking about us when you need to worry about us right here? The Americans, they got food in their bellies and roofs over their heads. They don't have to worry about that. What about us? So anyways, I love that they kind of just called him out on that. And of course, AeSun was like, they'll have to run over my dead body to do it. And that's what they needed. They needed someone who's going to stand up for them and look out for them. And the chief proved that he didn't care about them. I think they already knew, but that was kind of a glaring example of how he was going to let everybody sink financially just so that he could get that little pat on the back from the government people. And then we see later on it's also because he had the hots for that lady from the government. So anyway, I love that that was kind of the turning point for AeSun's supporters, and that when it came down to well, it wasn't going to work at first because we see that the misogynistic mindset of older people was firmly in place. You know, oh my gosh, we can't have a woman village chief. What's that going to mean? Like, it's going to mean you have somebody who's passionate, smart, and driven as your leader. That's what it means. It doesn't matter what she's got between her legs. AeSun may not have graduated from a fancy school, although from what I saw, I don't think their chief went to post-secondary either. But she's proven again and again that she's extremely smart. And I really hate that everyone assumes that you have to have a degree to prove your intelligence. That's just not true. There's so many people who don't have a post-secondary education for various reasons, and they could run circles around people who've graduated from Ivy League universities. There have been people who have had IQs that are almost off the charts who have never gone to a post-secondary education or institution. So anyway, in the end, she would have lost because of the misogyny, except they finally knew that because it's such a small town, you know, slanderous ways, what's the word I'm looking, not slanderous. When you're in such a small town, scandals, I was going to say slander, but it's not really slander because it was true. Scandals, they spread like wildfire. And in that time, in that day and age, actually, I can't even say in that day and age, Korea still does go pretty hard on people who end up in scandals even today. So anyways, it can ruin you, right? One bad scandal can definitely have people not wanting to deal with you. And we saw that Mr. Big Mouth Village Chief just kept wanting to slander AeSun. Oh, she comes from poor beginning. Oh, she went off and got pregnant and got married. Oh, you know, all of her kids are, one kid's in university, but the other one's a delinquent, blah, 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 blah. Like, and everyone just kept saying to him, like, why do you keep slandering her? Why aren't you telling us why you're a good candidate? Why do you keep dragging her through the mud? Because it sounds like your campaign is more about dragging her through the mud than it is about why you'd be a good chief. And so anyways, because he did so much of, you know, putting himself on that righteous hilt, well, that's exactly why he ended up losing, because that's what, you know, the girls, the Hanrios were right. They're like, AeSun, you know, you don't necessarily have to dig for dirt, but you need to let these people know who they're voting for. If he's going to fight, you know, at that level, you can't go high on this one. So yeah, they knew what was going on, and that man didn't take long for him to offer them the perfect opportunity to witness what he was doing. And, you know, it didn't get that far, to be fair. I mean, rubbing a woman's foot is not the worst thing ever, but we all know that if they'd not been interrupted, it probably would have gone further. And we found out later on from his wife that it's not the first time he's cheated. And I knew that. A man like him, I'm like, I'm sure it's not the first time he's cheated. It wouldn't be the last. But anyway, thankfully that was the turning point, and AeSun got to realize the lifelong dream of being the village chief. She wanted to be that since she was a kid. And, you know, her mom it's a dream she even got to tell her mother, thankfully, before she passed. So it's all the more meaningful to her. And I'm glad that she got to have that experience and to have that, you know, so many of her dreams had to be put on hold for her family. And I'm glad that she got to have that now that her family is kind of well on their way to growing up and being independent. Again, loved Gwon-shik just being a beautiful, adoring, supportive husband, even when those men tried to throw that misogyny at him around, oh, if your wife's the chief, can you live like that? Like, what about your manhood? And he's like, what about it? Manhood is standing behind your wife when she gets a deserving position. Manhood is recognizing that you've got a really great wife who's very capable and who's going to help everybody in this place. That's what manhood is. I'm not embarrassed. I've been wanting to be her first lady since when? Right, so and I love it. The fact that he stood in it, those men actually ended up kind of being like, okay, I guess you're right. I guess you're making us look bad. I'm like, I'm glad y'all know. Lets you know that a lot of these men know that they're being ridiculous. But anyway, so that was really sweet. On the other side, we see that her son, Young, he's having a hard time at school. He, it's not that I don't think that he's smart. I feels like he's bored. Like the fact that he's making jewelry right now and accessories out of pieces of people's cars. I mean, sir, like, we appreciate the vision, we appreciate the creativity and the entrepreneurial attitude, but can we do it maybe not at school and maybe not from the teacher's cars? Anyway, but yeah, I'm not sure why he's so disillusioned with school. Maybe it's because there is so much of an so much attention put on Young and her accomplishments. Maybe he's feeling a little jealous, or maybe feeling like he's in her shadow. That does happen with siblings sometimes. I don't think parents mean to do that, but like I wasn't a fan of AeSun saying, "Oh, your sister never put me through this," or "Your sister never this." Your sister, they're two different kids. Right? I understand why parents do that, but it's not healthy in my opinion. Like, don't compare your children. They're different. Young has always been an academic, but her son, we don't really know actually, because in the flashback, we didn't see if he was good at school or not, but he may not be that way. He might want to be like his dad and be a tradesman. Or in this case, I think he actually wants to potentially be someone who works in fashion, or just someone who runs his own businesses. But the point is, I'm not saying she shouldn't be upset with him for defacing people's cars. Of course she should be. But I think I'd be more about, okay, what is this about? Like, do you want an outlet? Like, would you like to figure out a way to start a side business? And then the deal is you get to do that if you focus on school. Like, see if you can work with your kids is my point. Because if they do have a talent for something, if you can motivate them in the right way, I'm sure she could get him to stop doing some of the stuff at school if he could do what he wants to do. But anyway, we'll see what's up with him though. He does seem a bit moody, but it could be just because he's a teenager. And then outside of that, yeah, we just saw what was going on with Young and the fact that she was driving the girls crazy. Like, again, the classism, the snobbery of these girls who couldn't stand the fact that she was in this foreign car and getting driven around. Instead of asking her what it was about, they came up with stories. And I love that she knew that was what was happening, and Young would make sure to wave at them and just go crazy just to drive them nuts. But in the end, it turns out she was tutoring, and I get now why she couldn't tell them, because I didn't realize it was illegal. That's I've never heard of tutoring being illegal, but anyway, that's why she really couldn't tell them what she was doing. She had to let them think she was maybe dating a rich guy. But anyways, it looks like the student's pretty sweet anyways. Like, yes, she was temperamental, but the fact that her and Young got along, I feel like she actually likes her a lot. But anyways, we find out the reason why the mom hired her was because she doesn't want to wait for her daughter to actually learn. She wants to scam her into university. And again, just a foolish plan for all the reasons I said in the episode. Like, she would get caught eventually. And again, if my girl got caught, Young would be expelled. She would never get into another university. And because she's the poor kid on a scholarship, they would absolutely dump everything on her and she would have no legs to stand on. So I'm so glad that she remembered that her parents raised her better than that, and she said no. But as we see, this woman did not like the fact that Young kind of called her out on her crap, and she accused her of being a thief. And so anyways, I'm hoping she gets a chance to clear her name, because again, sadly with the classism that happens, sometimes they like to believe the rich people over the poor people. But yeah, my poor girl. She does the right thing and she still gets messed over, right? No good deed goes unpunished, as they say. But anyways, I guess we'll have to wait till the next episode to see what happens as far as how it gets cleared up. And then we see also that her ex, the boy that's been obsessed with her since her graduation, he's trying to slide in with the family. And I just love that Guanxik is not about it. Mr. Guanxik, who stalked a girl since he was 10, now he sees a guy doing basically the same thing and he's like, get away from my girl. I will call the military police. My man knows, because he's like, yeah, I became a father at 19. I'm not letting that cycle repeat itself. But I think it's kind of funny. But I feel like he's going to end up, if he does stick it out, this guy, I think Guanxik will actually end up respecting him, because they're kind of similar, if we're being real. Like that energy is very similar between the two of them. So yeah, another cute episode. I enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed watching along with me. If you did, please show some love, and I will see you in the next one.